I am the famous American. I've returned from my voyage. As you can see, a new development in our home, probably since the last time I made a video, is that we have a new member of our family. I am now a hamster dad. This is a Syrian hamster, known as a teddy bear hamster. And I've had this for almost 3 weeks now, really kind of learning how to take care of one and making sure I put it in an aquarium as compared to a cage. And but it's really a good relationship because he's ready to wake up by the time I get home from work. So that's his playtime. And we really developed quite the relationship here of he just likes to crawl over my hands when I'm not putting him in his ball. So what I thought would be good, because as we know, this is a channel that focuses on DNA test, ethnicity, ethnic background. Well, here you go. You take a DNA test on one of these things, I guess it's going to show up Syrian DNA, right? Middle Eastern. So, you know, I could make a comment saying, you know, as you know, on my mom's DNA test, it was 15.2% Sephardic Jewish and 14.1% West Asian, which ultimately I would say would be Syrian, Iran, you know, Iraq, that Turkey, that area there. So maybe it's not a coincidence that I, of all people, would end up with a Syrian hamster as a family pet here. So it does make me, and it does make me think, that's funny because like here in the United States, I don't think of a lot of Syrian imports, but, and in the wild, these aren't necessarily just flourishing in the wild. Like they pretty much, in my mind, they're kind of like a Chihuahua. The reason we have access to them is because we have them as pets. So I thought that is somewhat interesting to me, right? We've got a Middle Eastern hamster. We've got an owner who is distantly of Middle Eastern descent as well, and those genes have crossed oceans to arrive here in the United States, where he and I are, I guess, quite a match. Can you see the resemblance? Yeah, maybe. We've got some shared Syrian DNA, right? Maybe DNA from the Middle East, you know, translates the same, and he and I connect for that reason. Well, you know, where's the concept of me having this dog? That's this idea. Like, what would be an American dog? Like a Labrador? Like some kind of concept of like, there's an American man. No, this American man, who is vaguely of Middle Eastern descent, has a Syrian hamster. So let's talk more about that. I think that's interesting, that an owner could be matched up to the ultimately ethnic origin, the homeland. I think that's an interesting concept. Imagine if we did that with dogs. Imagine if Mexican people had Chihuahuas, and imagine if English people had English bulldogs specifically. Like if you had a pet that matched up in theory ethnically to your background. That isn't really necessarily the case. I'm sure that's where I know obviously we can look at where they originated, but by the time we're here in the United States, here we've got an American who has some arguably Syrian DNA and a pet to match. What are your thoughts on that concept? Your comments belong right below.